Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you again so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic, phenomenal day. Happy Labor Day to you. We're going to take a look here at Solana, see what's going on. To preface, looking at Bitcoin, just to kind of give you a heads up, it's looking decent. We got a falling wedge breakout with a bullish backtest, this descending trend line with a potential break through the clouds. So looking for a long position on Bitcoin here in the relative near future. That could correlate to Solana also being worthwhile taking along. But as of right now, it's still a no-go. Just kind of throwing it out there. I'm going to explain the reasons why, of course, because it's important to recognize that. But me personally, again, am I going to take a long position just blindly at this point? Not really. We want to kind of see if these trend lines are broken. I'm not just extending it out here too, by the way. It does look like that's matching a little bit better. More important, we're going to look at this SMAs specifically on the 4-hour and kind of see if that is giving us any indication. Because usually being above the 20-day SMA on the 4-hour time frame is a really good starting point. And that's where Bitcoin's at right now. But it hasn't fully broken above or closed above yet. So again, patience is important. And I know it sucks when you're patient and then the price moves faster and you don't get a good entry. It kind of blows. But it is better to wait for something that doesn't happen than to get into a bad trade. So please recognize there's some important things to being patient. It's a good thing. Okay, taking a look here, of course, at 134 rather. That is the next area of liquidation for Solana. Not to say it's just going to happen because it's there, but we have a decent amount, a little chunk there, maybe about 400 million, maybe 500 million if you kind of average up a little bit at that level. So 134 seems like a sensible place. Again, I'm rounding up more like 133.50, but once more, when you secure profits, you're never going to pick those round numbers. You want to pick odd numbers because you're more likely to get filled. You'll get filled before the next person just because most people will tend to round up with their entries or exits. Market makers do not do that, by the way. Okay, so take a look here, of course, at the macro, just kind of give you perspective. Tons of liquidation on the upside, very little to the downside, but there is still a decent amount at 125. I do think the bottom is tentatively in because Bitcoin bounced solely, very strong off that 57K mark. Really glad I was able to add to my spot bag at that point, but I have limit orders all the way down to like 48K. So again, different story altogether. But what I'm referring to is a simple fact that Bitcoin is showing some strength here, but again, it's a weekend/holiday. Okay, not really the most monumental. Okay, but again, a decent amount of volume has come through Bitcoin in the last 24 hours to hold that level and has since rallied to try to break its more local high. Okay, I still think it's a little premature, but we're almost there. Anyways, that's all relevant because Solana is following. If you look at this chart, ever since Solana dropped on the 29th, last Thursday, we're seeing almost a direct one-to-one correlation. So not too much else to note here. You're probably better off watching my Bitcoin videos daily for the moment to get perspective on what Solana is going to do. Either way, we're still going to take a look at some key levels and make sure we identify some dollar cost average targets, perhaps if the price does pull back. And we may need to update our fibs, but I'll double check that. We kind of got our macros up here. This is probably for the best to leave this here. But again, I'll go ahead and update this on our playout chart, and I'll go ahead and post that here soon. If you're not familiar with it, it looks a little something like this, where I provide scenarios here based on different trades that I'm planning to take. That's all available for you there. Okay, looking at the daily time frame, we are underneath all moving averages. Bitcoin's the same. Not too much to note there. We're still under 50 on the RSI. Stochastic is swinging up. That's generally favorable in that sense here, letting us know that on the daily time frame, we've kind of maxed out our downtrend, right? We look at this TD sequential, we're getting closer to the bottom. Now, it's not to say we're already in, but hypothetically, based on how Solana performs in most cases, we're probably going to see an 8 or a 9. We got 1 or 2 more red day potential. And it's not a guarantee it's going to happen, but hypothetically, we could see that depending on the fundamentals for the week. Okay. So other than that, let's take a quick look, of course, at the 4-hour time frame. This is where I like to kind of identify where our trend is. Because again, when we draw out these trend lines, you see me drawing these trend lines out to the downside. They're generally going to be correlated with the 20-day SMA. You'll notice that the SMA specifically always highlights the trend. Okay. So that's why it's kind of the more weighted number for me there, essentially letting me know that you're probably going to be in pretty good shape if you try to take a trade above that versus below it. We haven't broken above it yet, so I think it's still premature. But just note Bitcoin is testing that level. When I reviewed it earlier, it was above. Now it's below. Again, a lot can change in a short amount of time, but the general consensus here is that the more time we spend above the 20-day SMA, the more likely we are to be bullish and the price will go up, right? We're not there yet. Okay, so I don't care how hard you think about it, how much you stress over it, that's not going to change. We're still not there yet. We're under 50 on the RSI as well. So while this little push is kind of nice, it's consolation, still doesn't mean much at all. MACD converging means very little right now. Okay, again, those are just the natural knee-jerk reactions you see. That's why the price is up 3% in the day, because people are just buying the dip until the whales sell the next, top, right? If we do kind of look here, we can see the previous solid closure here at about 133, 134. We've discussed that previously as being somewhat of a support level. Now it's likely to be a resistance here. So I would say until we get a clean closure above this level here, we're not in good shape. In fact, I'm willing to bet that that area is going to probably be where the cloud is at. What do you know? Exactly how that works out. So again, Ichimoku cloud is a good confirming factor, kind of reaffirms the simple moving averages on larger time frames, only on the hourly. And it lets us know here that we need to be at 134, 133 or higher to have any legs to stand on, okay? Because again, at this point here, every time we've seen this happen, people take a long right around here and then the price goes down and you keep getting screwed over. So it's still too early, still too premature. You're much better off waiting for the price to come up and to bullishly back test this tentative support level, or more importantly, this upper and lower lead on the cloud, okay? So the truth is we're not in good shape. The lagging span is over here already in the price action. This does imply we want to wait another 5 to 6 hours before taking a long position anyways. And at that point, you don't just jump into a long, you want to confirm. Are we at 130, let's say 133 and a half, 133.50? Are we at 133.50 or higher? Okay, if we are, and we see like that control of that time frame, then it would make sense to consider a long. But once more, we still haven't broken free from our local high here, which is the important thing. So technically a closure above 135 would be a much better scenario for us. So 133.50 to 135, that's going to be our resistance range. I'll go ahead and post that on our playout chart here, and we'll go ahead and discuss that again later. So for the most part, I can say that at this point, we're in good shape for Bitcoin, but not quite yet for Solana. And again, when I say good shape for Bitcoin, I'm not referring to taking a long to the moon, right? Because it is literally there are tons of resistance above us. Same thing applies here. But we're good in the smaller term time frame, at least with small or low volume, which generally is not favorable. Okay. So anyways, I would wait till Asian markets open, see what they decide they want to do with it, and ride the wave, whichever wave they decide. Okay, that's generally what seems to be working pretty well. Either way, thanks again so much for watching. Hope you learned something today. That you want to become a better trader. Again, CryptoCache.tech is a site linked down below. Look forward to working with you. Hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you soon.